Hello, hello. Welcome to the Healer's Journey. Episode 3. We are here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Together, we are navigating healthcare and self care. I am your host, Leisha Lee. I really want to thank everyone for tuning in. This is our third episode, and 1 and 2 were amazing. So you can always check those out on the Healing Heroic Healers page. Just go to there should be links in the comments, so you can click on that and watch those if you haven't seen those and missed those. They're really good conversations. And today we're going to have another really good conversation with another healthcare worker who I had the pleasure of going through the cohort with. So if we can bring him on, get him introduced to everyone, we're going to have a conversation today. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Do you want to take a second, kind of introduce yourself and kind of tell us what you do?
Okay, well, my name is Brandon Nelson. I am a patient transporter with University Health. I've been doing that about 6 years and a myriad of other things. But other than that, I'm your neighborhood friendly transporter just to get you here and there with a smile.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. And thank you so much for joining me, Brandon. It's been a while since I've seen you and talked to you.
Yeah, I know. Where have you been up to?
Yeah, busy as you can see, getting a lot of things going here. Let's kind of hop into it. So you said you're a transporter. So in healthcare, people have to get to and from places. And can you give us little details about what you do specifically, and how your role kind of helps in taking care of people?
Okay. Well, I would be deemed more an internal transporter, as in when you come to the hospital. If you are needing some assistance getting to and from because maybe you can't do a whole lot of distance, be it ailments, injuries, or whatever the case may be, they will summon me to come pick you up by wheelchair. Or if you are inpatient and you need to travel by bed, I take you where you go. So it's dialysis, radiology, or even to the front door. I'm the guy that they'll call.
Okay, so I imagine that's a lot of walking.
Yes.
Like you're probably on your feet all day, is what it sounds like to me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, kind of what comes with that? I know you're getting your steps in, so do you get back pain? You're constantly moving people with your arms. Is there like shoulder pain going on there? What are some of the physically, how does the job affect you?
Um, Aside from tired feet, I would say that tired legs, sometimes back gets tired because of the amount of weight that you're moving, not necessarily because of the patient, but because wheelchairs that are made out of steel with very little give back are still a nice amount of weight. Beds that weigh about 500 to 800 pounds rolling are still weight that requires pressure, requires
Exactly.
momentum, and having to get that going still takes a lot of energy. So it means constant hydration. It means being able sometimes to just try to catch your breath. Um, Today, even on a slow day, I have, according to my step count, 15,526 steps. That's a
Oh,
slow
wow.
day.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you were part of the cohort, right? So you
Yes.
received a pair of clove shoes. Could you feel the difference between before you got the shoes and then after you got the shoes?
Oh, absolutely. I still feel the difference.
I know. I wore mine today, and it's still you wear them. It doesn't matter for how long, and you can tell the difference between when you wear them and when you don't, right?
Correct. It definitely helps being able to have a good pair of shoes. So I was very, very grateful to HQ for making sure that they provided our program with some shoes.
Absolutely. And you don't even realize it until you're like, oh, okay, cool, we got some shoes. And then you put them on and work in the shoes, and you're like, Oh, this is why they got us these shoes. Thank you.
Yes.
It definitely makes a difference, and I'm super grateful for it. So what inspired you to get into healthcare and be in that kind of environment? Is it like in your family, or is it just something you came across one day?
Um, I had gotten into healthcare through dietary, working in nursing homes, but I lucked up. I was unemployed, and a m- member of the church I attend was actually the manager over AHT, American Healthcare Transportation. I believe that's the name of the former company. And and I just started because it was a job initially. We all need to be able to pay lights and rent. And what made me start caring about what I did was I ended up not only attaching to my patients, but I started having to move family members. I had to move church members. I ended up moving a lot of people that I was connected to personally and started accepting that we only get back what we give. And if I want my family taken care of, I can imagine someone else wants their family taken care of equally. So I want to put into the universe that type of care that makes people want to come back for that care. Because you can go any environment in the world and receive a care, but will it be the type of care that you need and want and desire? It's not always guaranteed. So my part is to make sure that you get it.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing about working in your own community is that's your community. Like it's not just, oh, it's a job. Like no, these are my neighbors. These are family members, church members. These are people that are down the street. Like I know these people. And then seeing them in whatever state they are in, when we see them because we're in healthcare, they're needing care. So seeing them in that
A-
state, you feel that obligation, that empathy of how would I want my grandma to be taken care of? How would I want my mom to be taken? How would I want to be taken care of? And
Absolutely.
that can take a toll on you. Um, I know for me, by the end of the day, I am tired mentally because empathy can take a lot out of you. Like we talk about
Correct.
people being empaths all the time. That is, it can exhaust you. So for you, the Healing Heroic Healers offers um, different things that you could choose. So in the wellness packages, what did you pick? So what services did
Um,
you
so I ended up getting the services with Jennifer with Evolve.
Mhm.
And when I say she gave me a 90-minute massage, I can't even tell you how much of the 90 minutes I remember because within 5 minutes she put me to sleep.
I love that. Was it your first time getting a massage or
It was my first time getting a massage with her.
oh, wow.
And it was a wonderful experience because um, I have been told that that's actually the greatest compliment to them, that if a person doesn't fall asleep, that means that they didn't do something correct. And she
Oh.
made me feel cared about. Like for 3 days, I still felt like air.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I think I remember you coming into the cohort and talking about it. Or was there another service you received? Did you get like a facial or something?
I didn't get the
Maybe that
facial.
was
I
someone
remember,
else.
I believe a couple of our other members got those facials and some of the stuff that same day we took pictures.
That's what I'm thinking of. So you were talking about the massage, they were talking about the facials. I've just mixed them up. But that's amazing. I also got a massage. It wasn't with Jennifer. It I had never gotten a massage. Who knew that massages felt so good? Like
Oh yes. When I tell you the feel, and I always ask for deep tissue or ask for plenty of pressure because again, I'm not a little person. So
right.
I would rather my muscles know that there was some care put into it.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And then you were also part of the cohort. So part of the mission is holistic care, refresh, refuel, and rebalance. Working with Mark. So this is how me and Brandon, we were in the same cohort. We worked with Brandon together.
Hmm.
From the outside, seeing you from day one to the last day, and even at the very end when we did the interviews, I know there was a change in myself, and I noticed one in pretty much everyone in our group. What was that? What was that journey like for you working with Mark? And can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Okay. So, with speaking about the empathic, being empathetic, I take home a lot. I'll raise my hand. I am super guilty of taking on the problems of people around me. And with a constant handoff of patience, you're getting to listen to these different stories, these different traumas. And
Mhm.
sometimes it gets hard going home because you're thinking about all the problems in the world. Mark kind of, I'm not going to say kind of, he actually gave me a blueprint of how to be empathetic without taking that home and to recognize that some things are not always about you
Mm.
and that the best care that you can give is to not drag those problems with you home because if you think about it, if you take them home with you, you go to sleep, you wake up, and then you're bringing those problems right back to the same place of healing that you're trying to help in.
Mm.
And then also recognizing that it's okay to not say things. Sometimes it's okay to shut you up because
Yeah,
you can also speak an energy into things that aren't necessary.
absolutely.
And that was where I started finding that connection. It even helped me with some of the things I do outside of work.
Mhm. Like
Rem-
what? How has that impacted you?
so he took me on a course of channeling. I know that's not the exact wording he would use, but it's remembering a moment in time where I was my happiest or where I was at my most peace, and always remembering it so that I can focus on it instead of focusing on everything else.
Yes. Yes. And bringing yourself back into that energy and harnessing that and going off of that instead of what you brought in from work or could have brought in from work.
Correct.
Absolutely. I love that. I loved our time with Mark. It was at first it was like, what is he gonna teach me? It's like I'm a pretty self-reflective person. Okay, what can we talk about? And then he starts talking and teaching and having conversations with you, and it's like, oh, well, I wasn't thinking like this before. It was really nice working with him. Like I learned so much.
I totally agree.
And I think in our group also, seeing the change not only in myself, but in you, in my sister, in the other people in our group, it was like, wow, this is amazing. Like this was so beneficial, not just for me, but for other people. And still, again, for me to see that in other people. It was just beautiful. As people who care about other people, it was nice to see that also, that other people were getting from it what I was also getting. So that was beautiful to see also. Shout out to Mark. He's amazing.
Mark Mark is a really dope guy, and I really liked him.
Really is.
And I would implore anybody that meets him to be able to soak some of that knowledge up because he has a vast array of things. Like some of the pictures he was using for us, it had me looking at the rest of the cohort members like, where did he come up with that from?
Exactly. He's funny. If you ever meet Mark, I don't know, walking down the street or something, just have a
Mm,
conversation with him. Like, and he'll
absolutely,
talk to you too. He's a talker. He will talk. He loves connecting with people. So I love it. I
absolutely.
love it. So with that, did that help you kind of what you learned in the cohort? Did that help you with like your passion for work and going in and keeping motivated to do what you do and keep going back into the kind of work that you do with healthcare and not taking it home?
I honestly say the first week back in the field that I work in, it was a little bit of a challenge
Yeah.
because with learning anything new, you want to apply it, but then you want to. you want the immediate result. And so sometimes you have to try again. And then once you finally have the aha moment and can apply it, it works. I'll
Mhm.
say that for me, I had to start like catching myself where I had to step to the side and talk to me again. Like, okay, B, what did you really learn from this? Like, come on, review the lesson.
Right.
And because it be times where it's not even always the patient. Sometimes it's fellow staff. And then you have to put yourself in that person's you have to put yourself in that person's shoes for just a second
Yes.
and realize
Ab
that nurses, and I use nurses just as an example, have to bounce around maybe a select, I'm gonna say 3 to 6 patients. And you're dealing with
mhm.
all these different personalities with all these different problems. And you're trying to remember all that, plus remember all the things you learn in school to try to give them the care that's needed. But then you have to process all the other personalities, including other nurses, doctors, practitioners, transporters, um, EVS workers, and everybody. And they got so much to do, and that them snapping at you isn't necessarily a you problem. It's that you're the easiest target that moment. And Mark's teachings
Mhm.
was really helpful with that.
Yes, yes. I definitely found myself in moments where, like, I was like, "Okay, what is it that's going on inside of my body?" And just paying attention to that and what was going on. Because so many times Mark was like, "What's happening? Like, what are you feeling?" And you're like, "Mark, I don't know. Like, I'm feeling angry." And he's like, "Well, what does that mean?" Like, so you have to like really be present with yourself.
Right,
And I really love that example because working in healthcare, it's not just patients, it's other healthcare workers who are also going through the same things that you are,
right,
or more, or in a different way on top of their own life. So having empathy for patients, clients, um, and coworkers, it it's a lot to balance, and then also paying attention to how am I treating people? Am I frustrated, and am I is my energy off, and is that causing a imbalance somewhere, and people are reacting to that? So I really appreciate you sharing that side of healthcare, because we really put a focus on, we want to take care of the clients, but we also are working with other people who are doing the same thing as us or different, but still here to care about people. So thank you for sharing that for sure.
my pleasure.
So yeah, after working with Healing Heroic Healers, what did you notice was the biggest difference for you from before you went through all of the package and cohort to after and getting the shoes and all that? What was the biggest change for you? What did you notice the most?
If I could be transparent,
Mhm.
I learned that I'm not by myself.
Mm, I love that.
Um, I've been involved in healthcare about knocking on 20 years. I don't look it, but I am.
Yeah. Wow.
And with listening to different aspects from different positions, I realized that it's not just me going through some of the things I experienced. So I think the greatest feeling I felt was a togetherness and a bond with my cohort class. To know that I'm not by myself and that I'm out here on the front lines doing sometimes the hardest of works,
Mhm.
but I don't have to hurt alone. I don't have to struggle. That there are people who are willing to walk me through this and that there are healthy ways of dealing with the things and the issues that I have about it. Even with myself and my personal life, some of these things are still going to apply and that I could walk
Mhm.
away a better person and maybe teach somebody a few of these things, if not introduce them to this same program so they can have the same opportunities that I was given.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that, because that was a really big part of it. Seeing other people in the healthcare field talk about the struggles that we all go through. We don't really talk about, we kind of just go through them. We just go through it because we care about people and this is what the job entails. So
Yeah.
we sometimes talk about it, but we don't really talk about it how the opportunity we had to talk about it with Healing Heroic Healers. It was a way to really open up and say, you're not alone. Here's your community. We're all in this together. And that's really what H Cubed is about. And that's really what the healer's journey is about, is to have conversations and elevate the voices of healthcare workers and share H Cube's experiences and opportunities that they are giving healthcare workers. And I'm really appreciative to be a part of it. And I'm really glad that we're having this conversation. Um, Brandon, I know that you said it has helped you in your own personal life. I know you do um, poetry, spoken word. Has that kind of flowed into that? What you've learned through H Cube, does that kind of maybe inspired some new work?
It actually, you know, the more I think about it, I think that's part of why I started some of the new writing. Um, for those of you that don't know, my name is listed as Brandon Amazing Nelson. Amazing is my pen name.
Mhm.
It's the performance name, and a lot of times I used to treat it as my shield.
Mm.
That this would be how I would block out a lot of the negative energies. Um, Spoken word is very therapeutic, but excuse me. But if you sit there long enough, you will learn many of the writers are dealing with just as much trauma. This is where this is the platform that gets often used when people can't afford therapy, even with insurance. And you go home sometimes while you're trying to get a release. Here you are taking in just as much the same as you do in healthcare. And so it's a constant duality for me. And I
Mhm.
started realizing I didn't want to keep putting negative things out there. I was tired of consuming negative energies from other people
Mm.
because that's not healthy.
Yeah.
I'm also an only child and I'm a father of two. And what can I instill in those people around me that are constantly around me if all I have is negative? So I had to start learning to repel some of the things I was taking home and be able to start saying, you know what? I want to start writing the uplift. I want to start writing about the things that really keep me up. Not to
Okay.
not to make it sound like I'm a preacher, but at least sound like I'm a believer and I'm an enthusiast of
Mhm.
positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's
Absolutely.
really started helping change how I approach people, how I talk to people, how I handle situations, and even what I put out there on stage.
Yeah. Is there anything that you could share with us that you can think of right now? That would be
Actually, yes, there is something. And it would go like this. Has anybody told you how good resilience looks on you? That you don't look like what you've been through, and that you carry the weight of the world so effortlessly with no filter, no subs. I'm sorry, with no girder, no filter, all sustenance, no filler. See, having less flaws doesn't make you more flawless. It's your scars that have made you more awesome. And I'm awestruck by your demeanor and how your exes have not made you meaner because trash can not stain you. That's why those with no ground to talk can't stand you because you ain't wholesome, you whole and some. You are God's fingerprint magnificent. Use a righteous word to destroy the prototypical mode of what's considered an art. Your love language is a Mozart because you are a gospel. You're a five-word song that speaks volume. And who really taught you to be so unique? Because a person can spend a lifetime trying to find your duplicate and will always fail. But has anyone ever told you that you remind them of the color change in the fall? That your peace personified. Yet fiery as a summer, you are winter's gift and spring bliss. You got a way about you that's forever changing destination that's exhilarating as a daydream. So exploring you can never get old. But you deserve to not be treated scandalous because your kisses aren't the prize. You make somebody want to be your girlfriend to take care of you the way a best friend can, and be there to wipe your eyes when Doves cries because you are worth six first-round picks and lump sum. You are literally the mystery flavor in airheads and dum dums, good for no reason like reassurance and deliverance. You are a father's hope and you are grandmother's prayers. So dope that every word in this poem gonna be about you before I ever tell you how fine you are. And if nobody has taken the time to give you that compliment, then today you can say somebody did.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Oh, exactly. We are snapping. I'm sure there's people snapping everywhere. That you are amazing. Oh, that was perfect. I have seen Brandon perform in person and it's this was good. It's I can't even give a number of how amazing it is. The feelings that you can evoke from a person is magical. And the fact that you are in work where you are working with people because you care, it says a lot about you in the way that your heart is. And I appreciate knowing you and I appreciate the fact that I saw you grow in a short amount of time and I'm thankful that I got to see that and we're having this conversation. So,
Well, I'm grateful
thank you
that we're
so
getting
much.
to have this conversation too.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll have more soon coming up also. So, maybe we can get that recorded too. Brandon, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for joining me today for this conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Ah, of course. And thank you to H Cubed for giving this platform and having us here to have these conversations. Mark, hello. Everyone follow Mark, be his friend. He's a wonderful human being.
Hey, Mark, good
Um
to see you.
we were talking about you for a while there. But thank you so much everyone for joining us. Please like, share, send it to your mom, your grandma, your cousins, your coworkers. These are really good conversations we are having, and if you want to hit the notification button, that would also help. So you can just be notified every time we're about to go live. That would be wonderful. And I want to give a big shout out to our funders, Health Forward Foundation. Thank you so much for supporting H Cubed. We really appreciate it. And donate. Yes, absolutely donate because H Cubed has done so much for me and other healthcare workers, Brandon, my sister. It's really making an impact on people, the work that they're doing, and then the services that they are providing. It's amazing, and I can't give them any more gratitude. I really can't. You have to really be a part of it and see it and tune in so you can see all the beautiful and wonderful things that they are doing for people. So please like, share, hit that notification button, please, and donate if you can.
Yes.
Please, please, please. All right, y'all. This is the end. Until next week,
Oh.
we're gonna have two people. Jennifer from Evolve, who gave that amazing massage. And
Yes.
then Derek from Ground Zero / Blue Tier Training. That's the jujitsu, I'm pretty sure. And I'm so jealous. I still want to do it. So thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. Until next time, we are out of here.
Take care.